Welcome to Price Action Trading 101. I'm going to take you through a potential setup that I'm looking for on New Zealand yen. I'm going to show you how you can set your charts up so that whenever you come to your charts, you're going to be able to spot opportunities really easily, and it's going to clear up the noise so that when you come into the chart, you can basically find what you are potentially looking for, or it will be something that deters you from getting in a position. So first things first though, I'm going to show you how I find these opportunities. Now, if you're familiar with the channel, then you'll probably see a lot of strength and weakness sort of charts that I use in the markets. Now, if you're not familiar, then strength and weakness plays a big role in what I do. Now, one thing that I do create is something called my currency heat map, and this is how I kind of find opportunities every week in the market. Now, what I'd use is currency strength and weakness to identify what markets I should be potentially looking at or where the focus could be. I then go through sort of the monthly close, the weekly close. I then go through a process of elimination of what charts look good, what charts don't particularly fit within my narrative. And then these ones highlighted in green are the ones that I focus on going into the week. So you can see, for instance, I'm focusing a lot on New Zealand dollar pairs at the moment. So Euro Kiwi, Pound Kiwi, and Kiwi Yen in particular. I like the idea of strength there. So I'm going to break down Kiwi Yen first, and then we're going to go over it. So when I say price action trading, it's basically using price to help me find areas of opportunity. Now, obviously, there is some work away from that before we get to this point, but this is a real good way of how you can set yourself up well. So the first thing we want to do is going to open up our platform. I'm using Metatrader 5 in this instance. You can use whatever platform that you want to, but because I'm with Blueberry, I'm going to be using the Metatrader 5 platform. And the first thing we're going to do is just go up to a monthly time frame and try and squeeze in all the information that I can that is provided to us, and then I'm going to go and place my crosshair on the screen. There's two ways you can do this: by shortcutting by clicking the middle of your mouse, or there is a function here on the top of the toolbox where you can click this button here or click Control and F. Now, what I'm going to do is just bring my cursor to the sort of right hand side of where price is, and I'm just going to scroll down. I'm going to identify a few areas. The first things I want to identify is the high and low in the market. So first of all, I know that this area of this high in particular is the high. So what we can do is we can highlight that candlestick. It gives us information there. It says the high is 94.05. So I can right click, come into properties, go into parameters, and click 94.05. The next thing I can do then is just click OK. So that's going to give me my high. Now I need to go and find the absolute low. Okay. And the reason I do this is because if I come to a chart one day and I can see that it's at the highest point that it's been at, so for a sort of example, you can probably look at the S&P 500 breaking through into all-time highs. You know that you're breaking into all-time highs at that point. Again, we can highlight that candlestick in here. It will give us the information that we need. So the low is 59.47. So I'm just going to go 59.47. So I've got the sort of absolute sort of low there. Okay, so I've picked out my high and my low. The next thing to do is then just go down with our cursor again and point out significant areas of interest. So obviously another area of interest could be these sets of highs in here. So what I'm going to do is just bring on a trend line, and what I actually tend to do with this is just mark out a little bit of an area, right? So it says monthly trend line there. I'm going to click onto properties. Now the one thing that I want to do is round this number up to either quarter number, half numbers, or whole numbers. Okay, so I can see it says 91.89. I'm going to bring that value to 92, bring this value to 92 as well, and I'm going to click OK. I'm then going to double click to deselect that. Now, one thing I like to do then is just add some text to the charts. Now, Metatrader is really good. It's really simple to use, but what it does lack is the opportunity to kind of see very clearly where those levels are. So one thing I like to do is just click on a text box, or even better, if you come to this tab here, it says label left price label, right price label. Okay, so I'll just click on the left one here, and you can see it kind of brings up that box. Again, I'm just going to round this up to 92 and click OK, double click. Now I know when I come to my charts, I'm going to be it's going to be very easy to see where that level is that I'm looking at for potential price to come into. And again, we just follow this simple process and we'll go all the way down. I'm not going to click on every single one. I'm just going to kind of show you the ones that stick out to me, and then we'll go from there. So this one in here, or this set of highs in here, for instance, is something that I like the look of. It says 87.244. I'm going to go 87.25. Again, just adding a quarter number into here. I'm going to drop down, give the left price label, drop it onto there, and give 87.25 like that. And again, I'm just going to continue to do this. I'm going to find horizontal levels of support and resistance that really stand out on this monthly time frame. So I'm going to go to 81, and then we're going to move on from here, just because I don't want this video to be necessarily too long. So you can see there, pop that on there, and we'll go up to the 81 handle like this. Okay, so just do that all the way down. Highlight as many levels as you like. Make sure they're really clear levels. Make sure you're not bombarding yourself with that, but just make sure that these levels are pointed out quite clearly. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to drop down a time frame. We're going to drop down a time frame. We're going to do the exact same process, but this time I'm going to add an element of other things, including sort of trend line support and resistances. Okay, so for instance, on Kiwi Yen here, I can see that we have a trend line support which forms from the low on the 19th of March 2023, connects with the low here on the 29th of October, and then through to the 10th of December. That seems pretty significant to me, so I'm going to highlight that area there. Now, one thing you can do is bring it up and try and see if a channel forms as well, because the market can move in these kind of cyclical ways. So, you know, I can see there that there's potential for a channel to come into this area here. And again, this is as well where we can start refining things. So if we want to start adding zones in, we can do that. I usually like to kind of highlight the whole areas here using those text boxes is sort of kind of an area of preference with this. So I can see from the weekly chart that around about this zone, the market is obviously finding resistance here, finding support in here. We've then breached that. We've found support on the other side. Price is moving to the upside. Now I can see that that 92 area is coming into a potential area of resistance, but I know that there's key highs at 94.05. So now we've kind of put a little bit of information on the chart, we can make almost a clearer decision of what's going on with price here. It's definitely moving to the upside. Let's go to a daily chart. So I can see on the daily chart now, again, repeat the process over and over again. So on the daily time frame, I can see that we've recently broken out of these highs. That's pretty key for me, because if I'm looking to be a buyer and the market is in sort of a trend, an upward trend, those previous highs can act as support. Not always, but can. So that to me would be an area where I'd be looking to say to myself, well, if price came back into this point, would something happen there? So all I'm going to do is just right click again on properties, and I can see it says 90.74, so I'm going to round that up to the quarter number of 75. Now, one thing you might want to do, just to avoid sort of confusion when you go up to the higher time frames, come to the visualization tab, hit all time frames, and just delete the higher time frames off it, and just kind of focus on the time frame that you're working on and below, so you'll be able to see it clearly. So that's from a daily time frame point of view. Those are the daily highs. Again, I can grab my sort of left price label. I can say 90.75. Come to visualization. I'm going to do the exact same thing here and click off of that. So now when I come to a 4-hour time frame, I can see that this zone in here is going to be one of interest if price can come back to that level. Okay, so this is how we kind of build up a bigger picture here for opportunities. Now, that being said, we also obviously have the heat map version 1.1 here, where I'm looking at New Zealand yen bullish opportunities. Now you can see I've got some information on here. That's just basically talking to me or telling myself the momentum in the market is to the upside, and that we're in a bullish sort of trend here, and I'm looking for opportunities for that. But now I've kind of placed all this information on the chart, I can clearly see that we're bullish. I can clearly see that we're working within a channel, and I can clearly see that price has recently traded through previous daily highs. I can also clearly see that the market could come up to this 92 area. So what we could see is a move into there and a move to the downside, or a move back into 90.75 and a move up to that 92 handle. So what I like to do as well, just keep going down, go to the 4-hour time frame. I can see that price is forming a low in here. This could be pretty important, okay? The reason being is because I like the idea of price being able to make higher highs and higher lows consecutively. If the market starts to make lower lows and lower highs, then that's not really something I'm interested in anymore. It goes against the sort of bullish nature of the market. So essentially, I want to see, can price potentially come back down to here, reject, move to the upside. Also, if you're very familiar with what I do already and you've been around for some live streams and things like that, I like to think in volume. Now, you can see there's obviously a large sort of area where the market has consolidated. That is an area where volume is being built up. So if price was to come back down into this area as well, it could be an area that price rejects and moves higher again. So what I would like to do is see if price fails at another low. So I will just pop an alert in here, and the way we can do that on Metatrader is by just bringing up your crosshair again, come down to the area that you want to see an alert placed, which I think 91.30 is a good alert. Click on trading, click alert. That then will notify me if price comes into that particular level, and then I can look at maybe some actionable steps. So if I go to the hourly chart, for instance, does price come back down to the low, reject it, close back above the 50, or does it give me a higher high, higher close candle where I can look for opportunities to be a buyer, targeting the highs here, stops below the lows, or then extending it to up towards that sort of 92 area. So that's how you can kind of use price action within your trading combined with other opportunities or other information, including strength and weakness. You might have a fundamental bias as well. I know the yen's pretty weak at the minute, so that's what I'm trying to capitalize on here. New Zealand dollar's getting a bit stronger. That's how I want to try and look at this particular market. So hopefully that made sense. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them below, and I'll see you in the next video.